Hello, welcome to this very special episode of Behind Dutch Headlines. Specifically, Behind Dutch Headlines is dead, long live, behind European headlines. Yes, me, Greg Shapiro, the American Netherlander, in my attempts to help you make sense of the upcoming European elections on the 22nd of May, or thereabouts, all throughout Europe. Now, I am going to do my best guerrilla style until we can get a proper studio setup here, but I do want to tell you, first of all, basically, what we're looking at on the European elections in May is a huge victory for right-wing populist parties such as Marine Le Pen in France, Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, and this guy, Nigel Farage from the UKIP party in England. This article is about how he's been engaged in a series of debates, perhaps ill-advised for his debate partner Nick Clegg of the Liberal Democrats, who, according to the polls, is not been doing very well. But what to make of all these debates? Well, it's funny when you listen to some of the quotes of Nigel Farage, whose party, UKIP, has been a pretty one-issue party for a while. Independence! And yet, if you listen to some of the quotes, in schools of our cities and market towns in this country in a short space of time, it's frankly become unrecognizable. We need a patriotic fight back. Basically, if you replace the word Europe with immigrants, you have a pretty good idea of what these guys are talking about. Or to quote Geert Wilders from Dutch politics, do we want more Europe or less? And the crowd is chanting, minder, minder. In other news, there's another big election actually going on here. In Hungary, you've got Viktor Orban, a prime minister who has been taking the country of Hungary pretty far to the right. Not a lot of people talking about it because the man still brings his budget deficits in under 3%. So even though he's shutting down half the media and locking up people who don't agree with him, and opening up a new subway line in Budapest where a station has his name carved in stone on the platform, it seems that we've got this Putin in waiting, a Putin wannabe in Hungary. But while we're condemning Russia on one hand, on the other hand, his budget deficits are within 3%, so he's okay. Big news this week, though, is net neutrality. It actually passed in European Parliament, so the next time someone says, what the hell are they good for? You can tell them, now you can not only do Skype and Netflix, but also email or whatever you want on your internet, and no telecom or internet provider can tell you differently or charge you differently. This is something that the U.S. is still kind of struggling with, but in the New York Times, they have said now that America, you should hang your heads in shame and look up to the glowing, shining example of the EU Parliament. In fact, it's the Dutch woman, Nicole Nelly Kroes, who is saying that these rules are not only going to be taking effect perhaps by the end of the year, but she's throwing in low mobile roaming fees as well. So the next time someone says the EU, what is it good for? I hope you can come up with that as one example. Before I forget, there's a very unusual event happening on the 9th of April coming up. Wednesday in Brussels. If you happen to be around there, check it out. It's hosted by MTV, and it's called MPs and MCs. Members of Parliament from Europe are going to engage in debate with one another, and based on those policy platforms, some MC hip-hop artists are going to write raps, like rhymes based on the policy statements, and then the MCs are going to engage in a rap battle to see which policy platforms win. It's hosted by a friend of mine, Ryan Miller. So I hope if you're in Brussels, you can check that out. If you happen to be in the Netherlands, I'm going to be busy with this guy for the next week. Glenn Wool, I'm giving away some tickets. So if you want tickets to this wonderful tour, which I'm kicking off this week, then give me a shout in the comments below. And I got a couple pairs of tickets for someone who can repost the most. All right, that's it for this week, and we hope to see you again next week. Until then, I will say thank you very Dutch.